We're kicking off with some blue-red dragons here today. This archetype was all over the Insight Esports Standard 2022 event that happened yesterday, and I think it makes a lot of sense. I talked about how white aggro as well as this, I think, are the easiest things to kind of port and build in the new format. This build specifically is trying a bunch of new cards. We're trying some Orb of Dragonkind and some Dragon Turtles and some Inferno. And this, while not a new card, is definitely a card that hasn't seen a ton of play. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how this feels on the ladder this morning to start. Yeah, there's a number of different directions you can take this deck in, like a number of the builds in the Insight tournament. We're playing a bunch of counter spells in the main decks. You can play like Disdainful Strokes and Comings. This build is a little bit more about playing to the board, which I think is probably better for laddering than playing a bunch of counter spells. There's a lot of people playing aggressive decks on the ladder. I believe Untapped is working today. I was told they don't have it 100% working, but yeah, it looks like the deck command is working today, which is nice. And you should have mouse over stuff, I believe. Play this and discard one of these this turn. Sweet. The mill 20 CMC card's probably bad against this deck. Yes, definitely. Hey, Uzap. Thank you for the 6 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Look at that. A lot of turn 3 Dargans, chat. The Prismari. So, Skyclave Apparition's not really a big deal here, because I'm going to get to make a 4/4 out of this. Aren't they foretold in a mono-white deck? This could be the Make Angels card. Yeah, it's probably the Make Angels card. So I think we're going to shock this, make a treasure based on the texture of my current hand. I guess I could just wait and we could Draconic Intervention some of these things. I'm gonna go ahead and just shock this, make a treasure. Maybe get them to extend a little more before we sweep the board. There is value in waiting, perhaps, because it would... what's the word that I'm searching for? Waiting would allow me to... Waiting would allow me to not lose this when I Draconic Intervention. But they could also, like, if I just, like, pass there, yeah, they could just, like, fire up this creature land and smack us a little bit. So technically losing this race. That's a great draw. What's going on, Monster Man? Happy birthday. Revitalize. Huh, oh, I wonder if they're playing... Are they playing Book? They might be playing Book in their deck, huh? Nerf Blaster, good morning, welcome back. Yeah, they're probably on Book Haven with Revitalize. Start here and see what we get. So if I put this in hand, and then we could put this on bottom and this in exile. We can suspend this. And then the math on racing gets really messed up for them with double time walk here. And they're just trading off here and playing pretty defensively. Okay. So definitely playing book. I think I want my Magma Opus token when I Alrund's Epiphany here, so I've got 7 mana, so I'm just going to go ahead and pass with Magma Opus up. And then we'll go ahead and do this. So if I deal 4 to their face and tap both their creatures, we'll attack for 4, we'll make 2 1/1s. We'll attack for 6, we'll make 2 1/1s. We'll attack for 8. So 4 plus 6 plus 8 is 10, 18. So they're dead. I will say, Alrund's Epiphany is a card that's been more than a little on the obnoxious side. Genuinely think that Epiphany is better than Time Warp would be in Standard. Maybe Velocimist moves the needle on that, but man is make some tokens with your Time Walk a real good effect. Morning, Alistair. I don't think extra turns are needed in general. Yeah, most extra turns cards they've printed over the last little bit have basically all been problematic. Yeah, and the foretell to let you hide it from discard spells is definitely something. You'll sit on a throne of lies. Iterate over some things here. So I think I definitely just want a bunch of lands, right? So we'll take this one to hand, and then we'll put this one in exile so I can Frostbite their Dorko this turn. Hand, bottom, exile, play land, suspend. I assume this game is over, just based purely on the fact that we have 2 time walks. And bottom, exile, land, Goldspan Dragon. I assume this is gonna die, but we just gotta kind of work through it. Sweet, and they targeted it, so that means we get a treasure token to work towards Magma Opus here. So, got a couple of treasures here. I guess if I hadn't played the second dragon, I could have Epiphanied this turn. Maybe that was better. Hopefully they don't have something like Blood on the Snow. He's not ready to close the game out here. And if they kill this one too before it dies, I can use 8 mana off the treasures to cast Magma Opus. And they die to a single Epiphany, much less 2 of them. Sasquatch, thanks for the 2 months. This situation, like what my opponent's in right now, is just such a sinking feeling. Because you're like, well, these cards that are in exile, they're either an extra turn spell or a counter spell. And either way, you just can't win the game. It's like, can't beat an extra turn, can't beat a counter spell. Sasquatch, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate the prime. Welcome back. Gaga! 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 There might be something to these extra turn spells, chat. There might be. These extra turn spells might be pretty good. We've had 1 turn, yes, but what about second turns? Yeah, I agree, Chris. Between Nexus of Fate and this most recent one, they should probably just, like, lay off the extra turn spells for a bit. Well, I mean, the lesson about extra turn spells is that a lot of people really like casting extra turn spells. So, like, Wizards knows what they're doing. How are we playing early rotation invites, you assume? No, nothing to do with invites. There's a queue in the client. Open it up, click standard 2022. Good to go. Your sub badge implies you're new here. As a good reference point, if something requires a special invite from Wizards of the Coast, I won't be involved in it because they don't like me. We've ruffled some feathers over the years. So, if we draw an untapped land, this Magma Opus just dumpsters them. Yeah, I agree, Zerg. Like, Chance for Glory is reasonable. I did rustle Cardboard live a little bit. They're not WotC related, though, to be fair. Read. Am I supposed to bin the Magma Opus and then Draconic Intervention their board? I think I am. It's not the fun line, but it's the correct line. Oh! Oh no, this is a dragon! Maybe it wasn't the correct line. Sedge. Oh, I could have cast it off. Ooh, that's a big putt. So for people in chat that are saying things, you're not being helpful. What you need to say is remind me that Galazeth can make mana off of Orb of Dragonkind. So it's not that I was forgetting about this. It's that I forgot that Orb of Dragonkind taps for mana. So again, be specific when you're gonna call things out. So you're right that I missed a thing, but maybe I shouldn't do this actually, right? Because this is only 10, 11, 12. In my head, this was for... Am I dead, actually? I deserved this loss. I should have left this back. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. No, I'm only taking 16 on board at the moment. Breach. I'm getting rewarded for attacking with this last turn since we have 2 lethals. Alright, so some slops there, not remembering that this works with the dragon thing, but our deck was strong enough to pull us through anyways. Trench Canary, thanks for the 5 months. Good morning, good morning. The overlay should be working today. If it's not, refresh your stream. The untapped people did an emergency patch to work around some of the issues Wizards created, and then Wizards is supposedly fixing that issue. It was an oversight, not intentional. We don't want to cast this till 3 because we want to be able to play a land off of it. Looking for a deal 2. That one. That's the one we're looking for. So we're going to put Island into my hand. We'll put this on the bottom. We'll put this in exile. We'll play this. We'll bite this. One good thing about Arena's economy is that back in the motor days, if I was planning to play Dragons this weekend but didn't pull the trigger until I saw the inset results, it would have cost me an extra $200. Yeah, I mean, like I said, like, The arena economy has a lot of issues, but one thing that I definitely take issue with, there's a lot of people who like to act like the arena economy is strictly worse than MTGO, and like, it's definitely just different. Like, MTGO has plenty of issues. If I just, like, play this out naked. It's for the biddies, Boston. Yeah, I think I like this. Just put pressure on the table. So it does tap itself. Even when it doesn't tap something else, it does itself get tapped. So it's not pure upside, but it is mostly upside. I do like the dragon turtle. Would you say the dragon turtle is dragging down this boat, chat? Would that be a fair assessment to make? Yeah, I will say, having played Mythgard and Runeterra, one of the biggest sads coming back to Magic is, this comes into play untapped, let's reveal a dragon card you control dragon. So I can decline to reveal and it still comes in untapped. I wish we could full art things for sure. A little sad that we can't. Counterspell this one, blue-green deck. Yeah. I'm gonna add standard decks to my website. No. Read. I think Turtle is playable before real rotation and standard. I don't intend to play actual standard, so I don't have an opinion on things that I'm not informed or educated about. If you're gonna have fun playing dual decks, rogues versus whatever else is going on in standard, have fun. It's not really my cup of tea, personally. Yikes. Oh, is that a good draw? That one seems like it's probably pretty good. How do I want to get set up here, though? I think it's Inferno. I think I want this in play before we start doing other stuff. The overlay should be working today for people that are asking questions about the deck list. A couple folks commented earlier that it was live for them. I guess they could have Alrund's Epiphanies of their own here. Which I think we're dead to, right? They have an extra turn spell. That would be very unfair if my opponent played the good spells too. Only I'm allowed to play the good spells, opponent. Any dice roll decks in the queue? No, I'm no longer playing terrible decks on stream. We're sticking to things that could potentially be competitive. Tapped land's a little bit sad. Means I can't do both of these. Yeah, Dead Guy Ale's gonna get some creature lands. All the fair decks want some creature lands. To be fair, Boston, a lot of the cards in this deck are like decent Magic cards. Are we dead? I think we've died. They've divided by 0 and killed us. Yeah, they get to just tap us off our thing next turn attack. Big tempo, much wow. Yeah, Quandrix Command into the other bounce spells. Pretty good there. Snakes are apparently better than dragons, chat. Could have orbed into a dragon turtle. That's not accurate, because I only had 5 mana, and play orb, activate orb is 3, and cast dragon turtle is 3. My other land in hand was tapped. Right? I had 2 treasures and a mountain. So, I feel like the other dragon decks I've seen that have counter spells main, I bet they're probably ahead against this build in the mirror match game 1. Being on the play here seems pretty busted though. No, I didn't have enough red mana to activate the dragon 14 times, Twitch chat. Stop it. Get some help. Fourteen is a lot of mana. In fact, if we had 14, we could have simply cast the Time Warp twice, right? And some of our lands were non-red, but we did not have 14 to begin with. We're also playing an Orb of Dragonkind. So if we draw a land here, we get to Alrund's Epiphany. Untapped land, specifically. I wonder if they're going to murder Galazeth here, as opposed to doing their thing. They are, okay. Ooh, and they've got the Desert Doom. Interesting. It's possible we should be playing some copies of this. This is 5-11. If we'd have drawn an untapped land here, we could have Magma Opus this and paid for Ward. Kind of funny. I just like Dragon Turtle this and hit them for 4. I think that's the play, right? Because it like costs me a treasure, but I make a treasure. Yeah, the Blue Dragon Immorith here definitely has the best ETB animation of this set, I think. Hey, always pooping. Thanks for the 24 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And this is the part where if my opponent has counter spells, we're in a little bit of trouble. And this is definitely one of the best of one kind of feel bads. Like, from this position, I don't think we can win anymore. And like, our deck is constructed in a way that we're hedging the aggressive matchups game one with things like the deal damage to all non-dragon sweepers. And their build, a number of the builds that did well in the Insight event yesterday were playing a bunch of Saw Comings and stuff, so they're much better in the mirror. I don't think our configuration is necessarily bad in general, but it's definitely bad heads up against another Blue-Red Dragons deck. Are you supposed to re-turtle the Doom? Maybe? There's a good chance their card in exile, though, was an extra turn spell, and it just didn't matter, though. If you're looking for deck lists, you can check out the Insight event here. All of the tournaments that I referenced, generally speaking, are up on MTG Melee. No, the Dungeons and Dragons set replaced the core set this summer, always. Not to be confused with the upcoming Lord of the Rings set, which is going to be a draft-only non-standard legal set. I can only assume when they determine whether or not something's a standard legal set or a draft-only non-standard set, they flip a coin. I think Soul Shatter and Edict effects in general are pretty good right now. Goldspan Dragon, even outside of this Dragon's deck, is a pretty popular threat, and being able to kill it without giving your opponent a token is pretty good. Let's go digging for another legendary dragon here. Not the 4-drop I wanted for Christmas. Wait, was that a joke? No, we're getting a Lord of the Rings themed draft set. It was announced as part of the Universe Beyond stuff. We're getting what's it called? A Stranger Things secret layer, like. Warhammer 40k isn't a full set, I don't think. If I recall correctly, yeah, they're commander decks.
Let's see how many votes you can take.
So, hand, bottom, exile. Could play this on blue and then cast my Prismari here. So, they actually haven't confirmed currently that the Lord of the Rings set is coming to Magic Arena. It will exist as a draft product for sure, but they haven't said with certainty one way or the other that I'm aware of that it's going to be an arena product. Which I think they'd have to be incredibly silly for it to not be an arena product, but, you know, who am I? Is this card good? This card might be good, huh? think I'm supposed to, like, shock these. And make a treasure. Maybe I loot? These dragon turtles seem pretty bad here. The more I'm playing, the more I'm becoming convinced the dragon turtle's probably a board card.
Fear won't hold me back.
I think we're gonna trim these after this match.
Learn the power of death.
Practice makes potent.
Thanks for the 31 months, Rivera. Man, the tempo on this Divide by Zero card has been really good in a lot of the matches we've played against it. It's not quite Remand, but like it also hits permanence in play, but it does basically draw a card. Feels like we're kind of buried at this point.
Techniques from artists.
I mean, the learn cards are really good when you don't have a sideboard to worry about. You can just put 7 things in your sideboard for them to get. Believe it or not. Alright, I think I'm pot committed to trying this again. We get counterspelled, I'm gonna concede and cut these dragon turtles from my deck. I have 7 mana here. Oh, they can Magma Opus because of this. Yeah, we're super dead. So, it's not particularly exciting, but I'm going to go ahead and let's just net deck the deck that 7-0'd the event yesterday. And this deck, it basically doesn't have any new cards in it, right? It's like actually just Dragonfire. Has a bunch of counterspells, though. Listen, chat. You wouldn't download a car. Don't download a deck. Netdecking is stealing. But that's okay, because I'm a thief. Ah! I can't purchase it! Take my money, Watsy. Why do you hate my money? Why do you hate my money, Watsy? Didn't add a land. How many lands are in here? There's 25 lands in a flip card, plus a bunch of card selection. It's got enough lands in it. Oh, is it the first style we get? I have the mastery, I think. I don't remember. I'm confused by your question about snowland efficiency, because there's like 3 snowlands in my hand right now. No, I cut the non-foil snowlands and added foil snowlands is what I did. For those that missed it. I'll hold up this for a 4-mana spell this turn. Ruined. Alright, the game is over. My opponent has died. Hey, look at that. We've won the game. Dirty, filthy Netdeckers rooting Magic the Gathering by downloading good decks. Oh, this deck's got 4 Epiphanies in it. Yeah, it makes sense. Epiphany's pretty good. So the person whose deck list I copied hadn't filed a patent or an NFT for it, so I patented it before them. So it's actually my deck now. Congrats on your new IP. Listen, chat, if you can't innovate, litigate. They're learning. They're learning. Command, take a... Am I gonna have to discard because I didn't play anything? Yeah, I guess I should have killed one of these, huh? That's a punt. Yeah, I should have frostbitten one of those so I didn't have to discard the hand size. Sandy Dog MTG is a, I believe, Chicago area player, actually. It's a well-known digital Magic the Gathering grinder. Played a lot of Magic for a very long time. It's typically known for playing red aggressive decks. Well, I mean, technically Eldraine hasn't rotated out, JMP. So if you haven't been fully following this queue that we're currently playing is a special extra different queue for a format that technically doesn't exist. That's why it only has a best of 1 queue in client. They gave us a little bit of early rotation. this one time as only best of one as a treat. Probably looting here. For people asking if binding's been fixed yet, did you download the patch? Then no, then the bugs are probably still there. So I'm doing this in response because I can tap these without sacrificing them, which is nice. The extension is mostly functional again, yeah. Untapped people make good software and they care about their product. They don't drag their feet getting updates happening. So we're killing this before this other one comes into place. That way they can't play a 1-mana spell and get 2 tokens. Ditch these 2, keep the Frostbite for the extra Witch here. Hey chat, is taking extra turns good? If so, why? Please let me know. These are a few of my favorite things. Oh yeah, they're actually just dead to the turn spell, right? We just hit them for... This card is very dumb. At least it exiles itself, I guess, but... Alrund's Epiphany has not seemed particularly fair. Yeah, 3 + 5 + 7 is a lot of damage. Tan could just get run over on the draw, but they could also be playing something kind of mopey. All extra turn cards are inherently bad. I disagree with you. I think Chance for Glory is a really sweet design. I think it's fine. The drawback on Chance for Glory is appropriately statted. So, the missing event logs were confirmed to be an oversight and not intentional. We don't have a timeline on exactly when they're coming back, but they will be coming back. I want to be greedy and ditch a land here and keep a lot of these spells. I don't think I want to jam into a counter spell here with all these counter spells I have myself. And actually, let's go ahead and foretell this one. Untapped in the meantime has found a way to get their stuff to work without it. So it is at least, the extension is at least functioning today. And if they want to fight over this Expressive Iteration, I get to resolve Goldspan Dragon next turn. Excuse me? Yeah, you've killed my treasure token. It's gone, friend. Deal Areno. Thunk. So, other than the 6 mana can't be countered dragon, we're in a very good spot here. Velocimist doesn't really do anything for this deck. I think if you wanted to experiment with other dragons, the 6 mana can't be countered dragon or the Desert Doom are the cards I would want to try. Crush the Weak. Sure. Alright, so we should be done here at this point. Bat Butters, thanks for the 19 months. Welcome back. Enters the battlefield, exile an instant or sorcery, put that many counters equal to half its mana value. So round it up. So this is just going to be a 6/6 with Ward 2, so nobody cares. Look at the little baby Tauren sculptor, chat. Things it doesn't do. Block flying creatures. Roar! Here there be dragons. Yes, Batman. The 2022 Q in client is only best of one. Probably need to mulligan this with no red mana. Seems fine. You're back. Where'd your deck go? We lost a bunch of matches, and then I decided to try and import the deck list that 7-0'd the Insight event, and we haven't lost since. The turtle was not turtly enough for the Turtle Club. We cut all those cute new cards and we played more extra turn spells and counter spells. Put a tapping out for iteration when we get to play a 4-mana dragon. Seems pretty good for us. What's different in the old deck? The old deck was basically trying to play a bunch of cards that respected aggro a little bit more. Whereas this build's a little bit bigger and greedier game one to be better in the mirror and better against other counter spell decks. So we cut sweepers for counter spells effectively. I don't have the spots already chosen, but I don't really feel like doing deck voting. I think I'm going to play in a standard 22 tournament tomorrow, so after we finish this viewer submission, we're going to just like play things that I want to play. Deal. Fair trade. Usually I like to buy someone dinner before I stroke them, but for Fleshbound here, I'll make an exception. Yeah, the main deck counter spells have been absurd. Really, really good. It's not really a viewer submission anymore. I mean, it is. You paid me to play an archetype, and we started with your iteration of the archetype, and we played some games, and we concluded that the cards that you were playing to respect aggro didn't feel good because there weren't a lot of aggressive decks. So we looked at results from other things, and we always iterate and improve on decks as we play them. So it is the same archetype that was submitted, it just has better cards in it now. Modern Robots, thanks for the biddies, Beck. Let me know if there's a particular morning you'd like to see that played next week or just whenever. Once more with feeling. Whenever is good, sounds fantastic. Probably Monday then? No, wait, I have Monday and Tuesday already. Thursday, or Wednesday. Too bad I saw that counterspell coming. Yeah, just like, cannot put into words how much better the counterspells have been versus the other cards in these games. Like, I think we're 3-0 or 4-0 since switching, and I don't think we would have won any of these games without all of the main deck counter spells. The dragon turtles and the sweepers were consistently awkward, especially against other dragons decks, and yeah, I think like The Dragon Turtles and the Sweepers are probably relatively decent sideboard cards, but if you're expecting this deck, and it looks like this deck is going to be one of the, at least early, better decks in this format, playing more counter spells is definitely better than the other cards we started with initially, because these cards are just so much better in the mirror. And that's unfortunately one of the downsides of having a best of one only queue is you can't really sample those types of things. Well, that's pretty unfortunate. No land in 3 hits is blah. I'd rather have a Prismari or a Goldspan. Black-White Cleric Pod, you should link that. Yeah, Prismari lets me go Prismari into Frostbite next turn, which is kind of appealing. Technically don't have second red for the Goldspan anyways. That's pretty good. I think I'm still just supposed to jam this and hope they just don't draw land. They could also have a land and are just holding it in case Skyclave Shade were to die. There's a good chance they had that already, I think. Yeah, honestly, again, part of the reason why this blue-red deck's probably pretty good in best of one as well is, you know, you get to play Prismari Command to loot through cards that are awkward game one in a lot of spots. On cue here. Man, we just can't catch a break when it comes to finding the land on these things, huh? I think we need to interact with the board this turn. No, you cannot foretell off of an Expressive Iteration. Foretell is only from hand. I think I'm going to put the Prismari Command into exile and cast it off this treasure, and then the question becomes, would I rather have a Goldspan or a Behold left over? I think I'd rather have the Behold left over. We'll just replace our treasure token here. It technically lets us hold up Saw coming for next turn. Faceless Haven activation into the counter spell here is smart. That one's playing really well. And deck exile. I'll foretell this one. If they don't play into the Saw It Coming, we can Behold. Quite Cricket, thank you for the quarter of a year. Welcome back. So I'm gonna Behold now, because if I hit a Frostbite, we can kill the Haven, and they can't cast the Skyclave either. Just like we drew it up, chat. These are another edition that the original build wasn't playing that have felt pretty good so far. Goodbye, friend. It just kind of feels like my opponent can't win from here. They have a, like, my opponent is casting Eye Twitch and we're Scry 2 drawing 2. I think I'm supposed to counter this because it kills the dragon down the line. And I eventually want to stick one of those in the game with it. Do this now and keeps me at a tapped land. Faceless Haven keeping there could be okay. The Eye Twitch just keeps plugging along, chat. Plugging along. So this makes a treasure, and then dragon plus 2 treasures lets me cast Alrund's Epiphany next turn. Cause, you know, why wouldn't it? And if they try and kill this somehow, like they have a flunk, we can like saw it coming off the treasure token. Oh yeah! This Twitch stream, chat, pre-recorded in front of a live audience. Are we having fun yet? Did we adjust the needle too far? Is green now the unplayable color? Got him. So I could fire this up, and then I have this for exactly X's4 to kill them. Or I could just take an extra turn. Actually, just haven't lost a game. They're all so easy, chat. Man, Netdecking is busted. This is what the other half lives like. They just take the deck that won the tournament and then kill everybody with it. Magic's so easy when you do this, chat. I've been working way too hard. Piero, thanks for the quarter of a year. Welcome back. It's like weight training. This is, for those of the regulars that are here, this is just a little bit of a mini break. I promise we'll resume our dumpstering my ladder rake with awful decks momentarily. Yesterday I saw Jeff cast Kiki Jiki and today he's doing this. What has he become? We mulligan that in the dark. Yeah, this is fine. Fine. There was no reason to play a hold up stroke. Should have played a tap land on two. Probably doesn't matter, but yeah, it makes sense that like this deck is very reasonable. Like if you look at this deck and you look at this deck in normal standard, like not early rotated, this deck is pretty close to the same archetype that's seeing play in like standard with Eldraine. So like the deck that lost the least cards still being playable is pretty expected. Yeah, losing Bone Crusher Giant is a difference, but like, you know, everybody lost Bone Crusher Giant. I'm supposed to do Behold there, actually. Just looking for more card advantage here, huh? Right? Counter spells also sound good. Or Prismari flunking out of college. Opponent messing up their sequencing there a little bit, not waiting till the end of turn, giving me a chance to play another one of these right away. Stop it. Bad Professor Onyx. I mean, like, even if they have a counterspell back here, if they downtick and kill my dragon, my Faceless Haven kills their Planeswalker. So I think we're still a little bit ahead, regardless of the outcome here. Okay, that's pretty good.
Open your books to page... sorry, you don't make grade.
So I could do this, and I could do this, and then I attack with these, and then I could take an extra turn, and then if we draw another extra turn or a deal to, they die. Yeah, like, I'm not one, like, I'm someone who, like, I'm like the least ban-happy person out there when it comes to looking at new formats, but can we just, like, delete the extra turn spells? I'm gonna play one more, but, like, they're so stupid. Epiphany, like, I mentioned this earlier, but, like, I think Epiphany is better than actual factual Time Warp would be in this format. The fact that it makes you bodies is so good. No, I'm not going to say we're going to play until we lose, because I want to play different decks today. And if I say we're going to play this until we lose with it, we might not play anything else today. Yeah, like I said, I think Chance for Glory is the only extra turn spell that's been printed in recent memory that I don't think is a pretty offensive design. I think Epiphany has a case for the third best extra turn spell behind Nexus and actual factual time walk. Yeah, I think I'd agree with that, Duck. So if I'm willfully misinterpreting you correctly, you're saying Arena should get actual factual time walk. Yes! That is the actual perfect Twitch chat interpretation. I did have a chance to throw together a Black-White Angels build, and we'll be playing it on stream after this one. I'm expecting to spike all of the ladder points we accrued with this deck firmly into a garbage can. The one with Delve was reasonable. If by reasonable you mean unplayable, then yes, you're correct. Actually, not even unplayable, just so much as outclassed, because the other Delve cards were just better. Like, if the Delve turn spell hadn't been in the same format as Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise, it would have seen a lot more play. Can you get to mono white today? Yeah, definitely. So you're saying Arena needs Dig Through Time? That was not the land I wanted for Christmas. I was hoping to cast this without using my treasure token. Hand exile, or hand bottom of deck exile. And I think I want to do this. We lose to double removal with this line, but getting this set up has value for later. I could also be correct to just hold up Prismari Command, shock, make a treasure here, because the extra treasure is good with Goldspan as well. They could have double removal here. Yeah. Yeah, good game, opponent. Alright, we did end up losing, but I think I messed that up. I think I probably should have, if I would have Frostbit plus Prismari Command this turn and made a treasure, I would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this would have been 7, 8, 9, 10. If I would have drawn a land, it still would have only been 11. Close. Yeah. So, like, as just a concise TLDR at the end here, we started out trying a bunch of kind of cute cards, ended up just playing more good ones, for lack of a better term, and believe it or not, just jamming our deck full of more good cards felt very reasonable. So the initial build had things like Ramp in it, and it had a lot of cards that were better against aggressive decks that played to the board. But so far, there's been a lot more dragons and other mid-range and control decks on the ladder than there have been creature decks. And honestly, even this build isn't that bad against creature decks, right? Like, we've got Frostbite and Dragon's Fire and Prismari Command as all of these tools. So yeah, so this deck list is card for card, one that went 7-0 in the Insight Esports 2022 tournament yesterday, which had like 80 people in it. It was, I think it was single elim. It's a single elim tournament. Everybody only has one loss, so I'm guessing it was single elim. But yeah, so having, I think my specific takeaway from this set was, if you're playing blue-red dragons, you probably want to have a number of counter spells in your deck, because there's a lot of people doing big, expensive things right now, not even just this deck, but other decks in the format as well, and being able to have these no buttons is very powerful there.